Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Daily Low with your host, Matt McGregor and Tone Vase. Good morning, Tone. How are you, mate?
Morning, mate. I'm good. I am on the island of Roatan. Usually, I bring you these streams from like an awesome background, from like a villa on the beach. But Bitcoin is down, so I'm at a hotel in like more in the middle of the island, not right on the beach. But I am gonna go scuba in a minute. Shout out to Ocean Builders for hooking me up with some great gear that I'm gonna be utilizing today. And I'm getting my advanced open water starting today. I got 3 dives today, 2 in the afternoon, and a night dive later today.
Yeah, that's fantastic. So for today, tomorrow, Tuesday, and Wednesday, we're going to be coming to you earlier than we normally
Yeah.
would, which is like at this time right now, because Tone's got diving to do and I got to rest because I got to get up at 5 in the morning to go
Dude,
running
yeah,
every day.
yesterday it took me all day to get to Rotan. It's like a little island, and it's like, shoot, I'm like flying, like prices crashing. It would have been nice to go live yesterday, but I did not have the opportunity. And there's like a bunch of online homework I got to do with this shit. But let's get to the charts, Matt.
Let's get to the charts. Hey, can you turn me on? Is my screen sharing right now? I'm on my screen. I
You
forgot to
should be
turn
able
it
to turn
on.
it on. You, so I
Can you
can turn,
flick
I
me
can
on?
turn it on for you. I gotcha. I gotcha. There you go.
Yeah, you got me. All
Yeah,
right,
yeah,
cool.
yeah.
So
Yep,
look,
yep. I gotcha.
bad. Yeah, thanks, mate. We live now. We on live on screen. Cool. So I want to point
Yeah.
out something that's like kind of embarrassing, right? So like this is right here, I reckon, on the this candle right there. People hate when I say there, but it's on. I'm going to get into it. Friday's show, we did the show. The price of Bitcoin was 105,700, give or take, right? And I couldn't have been more bullish. Couldn't have been more bullish in the world, and I couldn't have been more wrong as well. Because when I woke up in the morning the next day, and you were awake for all of this, we were at 102. It's like, oh smokes, that's bad. That's bad. But fair enough. A good correction in my mind. This is what I'm thinking. I did not see this coming, guys. I did not. I've been totally blindsided by that kind of correction or crash. I suppose you can call it a crash. I mean, that's what probably one of the biggest crashes we've had in nominal value. $15,000, almost 15%. It's got to be pretty close. That's such a short a period of time that we've experienced for quite some time. And I don't know what to tell you. I don't know. I don't know if we're in buy the dip zone as it stands right now. I don't mind the recovery we had off 1091. I didn't buy it. I wasn't prepared to buy it at that price. And when we came up, we still below. We're on the 4 hour right now. Just this straight deadline down on the 7 simple moving average. We couldn't even muster up enough really in the last 4 hour candle to come up and touch on the 7 simple, which we're want to do. We have to do that at least to get a recovery. It's got to be above the 7 simple moving average and above the moving averages. It hasn't even done that. We're below all of them. So I don't know. Maybe this is a buy the dip. You could set a stop loss down at 93, but I just can't touch it. I can't touch it. I have to get some clarity. I don't have it on the 4 hour. There's nothing from me here. We are on a double MRI bottom here. But Tone can talk about that. I'm concerned about that price. The daily, this would be unprecedented, in my opinion, that we broke the lucid star to the downside. I'll zoom out a bit here. This is unprecedented, really, that we came down and got the red wave. Don't worry that this continued. It happened on this candle right here on the 3rd January. That wave turned red, came back up immediately the next week and turned green again, to come back down and turn red again. You can go back and check Bitcoin since the beginning of time. It has never happened like that before, that within 2 weeks we've changed waves twice. There's been some real bad consolidation where sort of here we did it. We changed green and then we went red again here. But that's pretty rare in and of itself as well. And prior to that, I've never seen it before. I guess you could say here, but this is longer than just a week on week. It's still longer. This drawn out consolidation we had across here, that's weeks in between. in that range bound time. Normally, you get more consistency, like you can see here, just months on end, and that's what you really. That's the beauty of the modified Lucid-SAR and the Lucid-SAR in general, that you get these real trends coming across, a bullish trend, a bearish trend. Even in consolidation, you could say, well, we got out of the trade here and it could have gone low, we don't know, but then we got bullish and caught all this move. Just to have pure chop like we did have here, and this is the worst chop possible ever, but we haven't done it yet. We haven't flipped red again. That was just, I've never seen candy stripes like that on the daily or weekly or whatever like that. So I'm worried if we came back down and didn't respect those Lucid-SARs once again. I did read a really good report by what's his name, Tone, from BitMEX, David Hay. He said, it was about a week or two ago, he sort of said he could see a crash, a massive crash, come back down into the 80s, and then set up for a big flush out that would lead to a great 2025 after that. I don't know if I subscribe to that, but I mean, he was closer to the calling something than I was, that's for sure. All right, weekly time frame. Let's have a look at some of these oscillators as well on the weekly. When you look at it like this, like it's not all is lost. It's just I'm unsure if I could get real long just yet. This is the silver lining once again, is that this the Socrates' EXA is now pushing way lower. We were looking like a real good cross was coming in last week, but just like it did on the upside, we didn't get that cross, and now it's come down low. I'd love to see this really tear down lower and get a really strong bullish cross down from a bit of a lower vantage point. I'll be all over that. Maybe it's already started the process. I don't know. It's not the end of the world, but if we start to break these Lucid-SARs on the weekly, I could really see a retouch of the 30 simple moving average down here at maybe 80,000. So we'll just keep an eye on that. Tone, I'm coming back to you now off screen share.
I got you. I turned it off.
Look, I guess this the summary of my analysis, which is not good. I don't have good analysis. Is that it's just too soon for me to jump in on a trade here. I need to see the washout. It's very, very hard to buy a dip when it's been a 15% correction in 24 hours. Confidently, because I don't trade small. You could spot buy it, you could 2x buy it, definitely. But trying to 10x leverage falling knife is a bit tricky. I'd rather buy into strength, and it doesn't have to recover too much for me to get excited, at least over that 7 simple moving average on the 4 hour. Tone, please like, subscribe, share it with your friends. Use the links in the description below. And Tone, what do you reckon? Are we out of the woods here? Is the bounce good enough?
It's actually, at the moment, it's impossible to say. It's actually extra impossible to say because the stock market has not opened yet, right? So if we were streaming this at say 11 a.m. Eastern time instead of 8:30 a.m. Eastern time, I would be able to at least take a wild guess on whether the low is in. But because of the time we're streaming, it's actually impossible. I have no idea how the markets are going to react. Obviously, everyone knows why this happened. This happened because Trump decided to announce massive tariffs on Canada, Mexico, and a little tariff on China. A lot of people are upset, and they should be upset because if Trump is adding 25% tariffs on US's most closest trading partners, there are goods coming from Canada. There are lots of goods coming from Mexico. Now, this could potentially be a bluff in order for him to, get some kind of concessions out of Mexico and Canada. But the markets don't know that, right? And these tariffs don't need to take effect for the markets to react to the tariffs. That's not how markets work. Markets always think what's going to happen in 5 years, in 10 years, next year. They don't care what happens tomorrow. These tariffs may not go into effect for another year, but the markets are going to react today. And Trump hasn't said shit about lowering American taxes. So if he starts adding 25% tariffs in every country, he just raised taxes by 25% without lowering taxes. So he needs to immediately announce that he's disbanding the IRS. He's removing, income tax from people. He's removing capital gains from investors. He's removing global taxation on U.S. citizens so that they are more incentivized to make their money overseas and bring that money to America to buy shit instead of keeping that money outside of America. So if he starts announcing, like all he has to do is announce, I'm removing capital gains, or I'm dropping capital gains from 20%, which it is now, to 5%. You're going to see Bitcoin double in price, right? Because now anyone that held Bitcoin from 2012, 2013, and was, silent about it, now they can just say, oh, I have $5 million. I have $10 million. I have $1 billion. Here's the 5% tax on that. And now, boom, it's all, it's ready to go for whatever spending somebody wants to do. But sometimes people don't want to pay 20% on something that they held through 3 Bitcoin bear markets like that, right? Like it's your blood, sweat, and tears. And now the government wants a half of that. If you're, let's say, in California, they're going to get half. Or New York, right? If you are only on a federal scale, then it's 20%.
If you're in Tokyo, it's 55%.
Right. So all Trump has to do is announce that he's dropping capital gains taxes. And I guarantee you that Bitcoin would pretty much double in price almost instantly. Okay. But all he's doing is telling you how much he's going to raise taxes. He's not showing anything about how he's planning to lower it. Because none of the other markets trade on the weekends, Bitcoin takes the brunt of it, right? It's people can't sell the S&P on the weekend. They can't live trade it. They can't do anything with any other market, but Bitcoin is out there. So Bitcoin completely crashed on this news. Now, let's go to the actual charts. By the way, I had someone ask me about the Canadian dollar yesterday. I went and took a look at the chart. Look at what a shitcoin the Canadian dollar is. Look at this massive triple top right here. I guess it's not the all-time low for the Canadian dollar. It's been worse for the Canadians, but this is pretty bad. And this goes back to what I've been saying for a long, long time. I expect the US dollar to go to unreasonably strong levels. And now with Trump in office, he's going to make sure the dollar is super strong, especially if he decides to back that dollar with something like Bitcoin through a Bitcoin strategic reserve. And so someone mentioned in the live chat, there is great news, Matt. Look at Bitcoin dominance. It is on a 3-year high. It swung even higher. This candle is still good. We are looking at the highest weekly close for for Bitcoin dominance since February of 2021. Okay, that is awesome. So I would love to take a look at shitcoins so I can see how bad they're doing individually, but we have more important, fish to fry. The monthly chart is still looking pretty bullish. It's just consolidation. We're only 5 candles into the MRI trend. I still think we will hit that 120 area on this monthly cycle, maybe even beyond that. Remember, from a cycle standpoint, Bitcoin should be in its most upswing form. Every prior Bitcoin cycle run at this point in time was generating maximum speed to the upside. I still think that has a chance to happen. Weekly chart. The weekly chart is now flip-flopping and resetting. Someone the other day, right before the big crash, I'm gonna drop that line. I'm not sure why I was there. Someone asked me if I saw a descending triangle on the daily chart. And my answer was, I didn't really notice this descending triangle. It's there now in hindsight since we crashed. For me, I saw more of a consolidation. I saw something more, especially when you go back to that area. But even if we don't, I saw something like this. For me, this was a little bit more of a consolidation than a descending triangle. But the person that did point this to me, I do want to give them credit. They clearly saw a descending triangle. They mentioned it to me right before the crash. I told them, yeah, I'll review it over the weekend and I'll talk about it on Monday, whether I actually see the descending triangle or not. But I never got a chance to do that because it crashed during the weekend. But even if I did notice a descending triangle and I had discussed it on the stream prior to the big crash, the descending triangle would have looked something like this. And I still would have expected us to bounce back up before the crash. So even had I mentioned this descending triangle, which is one of my favorite patterns, the reason why I didn't see it is because we didn't have enough hits on both sides. I would have needed one more rise to the upside and one more clear lower high, and then I absolutely would have noticed it and I absolutely would have discussed it. So had I done that, I still would have needed it to develop more before taking this descending triangle seriously. And once again, this was the news. By the way, that gentleman's name was Arthur Hay. I think you said a different first name, Matt. So just a heads up. And I remember someone mentioned that he did say it can go down into the 70s like a week or two ago, but I didn't see that in the charts either. I kind of thought this low was in, and I still think this low could be in. If we rally and we close back above the 50-period moving average, which means we will not have a full candle below that moving average. If the current candle gives us a positive tone base volume, which it is doing right now, remember this candle right there on January 27th was another one of these capitulation candles that was a red candle. It had a red general volume, but a green tone base volume. And that candle led us almost to new highs. I was also bullish, just like you on our last show. And if we close this candle with a green tone base volume and we get follow through tomorrow back over the 50-period moving average, I'm going to assume that the secondary low is in, just like the first low is in. I am in the ETFs, so I didn't even have an option to get out of my long positions over the weekend. I'm going to be in the water all day today during trading hours. So I will, and tomorrow and Wednesday. So my long position is staying long. I'm going to hold through this. I don't think this is a move down into the 70s. I still think this is just, the market's telling Trump to slow his roll and not to go crazy. Because if the market start going crazy, he's going to have some issues with with his base. So Trump needs to slow his roll on putting in massive tariffs unless he tells the American people how he's actually going to make their life cheaper. And the best thing he can do is to lower taxes, but not lower taxes in a bullshit sense like, hey, we're going to give you this little thing that only the mega rich people will be able to take advantage of. Or, hey, we're going to do this tax thing, but you're not really going to feel it until like your kids are born, right? Like a significant reduction in taxes that takes place this year, maybe even on this current filing, right? That's happening in April. I don't know if he can do that. I don't know if he can alter how much taxes you're paying for 2024, but he better do something for 2025 where the average person sees a minimum of a 20 to 30% reduction in their tax burden. He can do it in multiple ways, and something that affects every single person, down to like the janitor or the waitress or like everyone. So that's what he needs to do. And that would recover the markets very, very nicely. So for now, for the short term on the 1 hour chart, it still looks completely bearish. We need to get over a significant hurdle. And as you can see on the 1 hour chart, there is no significant hurdle. This is just a straight up, I have a little trend line there. This is just a straight up downward trend line that's even accelerating. So the hurdle is you get over this trend line. I should make it like a more visible color. Purple maybe? Yeah, that's better. That's a more visible color. So we need to get over this trend line, and by the time we do, we're going to be above most of these moving averages that I have. But honestly, the real hurdle is back here. You got to get over 102. You got to get back above 102. Until you get back above 102, it's always going to be a lower low. Whether that's you're looking at a 1 hour chart, a 4 hour chart. Let's wait for the MRI. I mean, this is not the best of second consecutive MRIs that I want to be buying, hand over fist. Below all the moving averages, your line in the sand is 102. Until we're over 102, you always have to be prepared for a lower high and lower low. But for now, the best thing you can say about the chart, we did not breach the low of last month, and we may not close lower than last month. You look at last month's close, or this year, the annual close, which is at 92,000 and change. You look at the swing low of 89,000. Well, almost 89 on the dot. And as long as you don't avoid as long as you avoid a lower low, and as long as you avoid a lower close, you're okay. Now, when I say avoid the low close, I don't mean by $8. I mean significantly avoid. So anything above 95 is avoiding a lower close. If we end up closing today in the 93, 94 range, I'm going to be pretty pessimistic. If today we get a hammer reversal candle, then I think we're okay. I think we're good. This could be my bias speaking because I am in a fully long position, which is one of the reasons I don't like to analyze the shit that I trade. I may stop actually trading because now I'm kind of getting back into trading. So I may start trading some market that isn't correlated. Maybe I'll trade oil and gold. And then I can talk about, because S&P and Bitcoin are too correlated. If I trade the S&P and talk about Bitcoin, I'm going to be potentially biased in my decisions. The best analysis I can give you is an unbiased analysis. And the most unbiased analysis is an analysis of an asset I don't have an active trade on. I don't care about the hodl positions, right? Those don't matter when I'm talking about, multi-month kind of trades. It matters if I'm talking about, the yearly scale. Okay. On that note, I got to pick up in 5 minutes. I will just run through the markets real quick. But again, it's pre-market. They don't matter. Gold is pulling. Oh, wow. Look at that. Gold recovered nicely. Gold's doing well. Honestly, I think Bitcoin will be fine. I just think Bitcoin was the only tradable asset this weekend, and people just wanted to sell something because they were pissed over the tariffs. And S&P is having a hissy fit as well. If the S&P can recover most of this gap crash in the futures market, I think we're okay. And finally, I just want to take a look at the mother of all shitcoins being Ethereum, and I really want to see it go as low as possible. And I want to see any Ethereum holder go broke to the level that they can't afford internet or comment on my content. And I love it. I could not be happier for Ethereum holders right now that are losing insane amount of money, and I will say it to their face. And same thing with Btrash, all-time lows. This is absolutely amazing. Solana is holding up, and I hope the Trump coin goes to zero to teach everyone a lesson that shitcoining is bad. There it is. Trump coin is down. That makes me very, very happy as well. Yeah, so things are good. Some things are very good. All right, and hopefully the Ripple scam is down as well. Oh, beautiful! Look at that! Look at that lovely candle. It is pulling back up as well, but yeah. Okay. On that note, let's call it a day, Matt. Let me turn off my screen share. Guys, like, subscribe, share. Matt, do you have anything else to close us out with?
Yeah, there's a couple of things really quickly. Look, if Bitcoin, if you're everyone watching now is a Bitcoin maxi, right? So Bitcoin dominance is up, and the US dollar is up compared to the foreign currencies, especially for us foreigners. It's like Japanese yen's down, AUD's down, Canadian dollars down. So if you bought Bitcoin years ago, you're making money still, and it was the right choice compared to the other shit coins you could have chosen. And it was the right choice instead of just leaving it in your foreign currency. So you're up either way. So that's the good news there. The bad and the next point I have is I think I said David Hay, the boxer, instead of Arthur Hay, which is funny. And yeah, look, Tone, you should probably knock off that Ethereum talk until after ETH Denver. It's coming up in 3 weeks.
That's a good point.
There. You'll be at the biggest ETH conference in the world, watching your boy fight for his life in my corner. So we'll start that up again in 4 weeks.
That is true, but hey, it might make more people to come out to spit at me during the boxing fight, right?
Yeah. Well, they'll be spitting at me probably anyway, so you might get some reflected glow. All right, thanks, guys. Good luck to Bitcoin. I agree with Tone. If we bounce up from here, get above 97 or something, we should be looking good. Go down below 93, not as good. See you tomorrow.
Awesome. Thank you all for watching, guys, and see you all tomorrow at approximately the same time. Bye, guys.